What's up? We're live.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, look, Brian. How long has it been?
How long? What?
How long has it been since we went live?
I don't know. A few weeks, months. I don't know.
Yo, it's been a while, man.
Time has new meaning, right?
But every time I see you guys, I feel like I am there with you. So I feel like it was yesterday. You know.
Look, you're always there in spirit, man. You're always there in spirit.
So what do you're in your car?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, because I came to wish my sister happy birthday with social distancing, but I came to bring her a gift, and yeah, I haven't seen her in
Wow,
2 months.
That's kind of crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's tough.
Like
Isn't it?
I saw you like 3 months ago.
I know. She brought me cake to the street, so we had cake outside in the street.
That's nice.
Oh, fun. I mean, I think people are finding ways to make it work, right? It's not the end all be all. You just find ways to work around it. And
Wow, no, that's cool. Wow,
Yeah.
so my company page is not live. But now you can see the comments here. You don't have to go on LinkedIn.
Who, me?
No, you can see don't you see the comments on the side?
No, I don't see anything.
Oh, you're on the phone. That's why. But
I'm
you
on
can
my
see the
phone,
comments
yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
What's up, Liam? Liam's here.
Hey, Liam.
Hit a couple
Turn on
people.
more lights. There we go.
Yeah, now we can actually see you. At first, I was like, "Where's Brian?" Like I hear him talking, I don't see anything.
Do you remember Chris? Were you with us when I did the LinkedIn Live on the airplane at 30,000 feet?
I did see that episode, but that was like before I started talking to you and Janaya. Really, I was like tuning in, right? And I was just sitting there thinking, man, that guy being able to do it on the plane. And then I saw at the very end where like the flight stewardess came by. I was like, no, you can't be doing that.
Yes.
Kyle Burt is in the comments. What's up, Kyle Burt?
Hey, Kyle.
This makes it so much easier for the guests.
It does. It really does.
This is so cool. And then look, we can show the comments. Like, so you know what? Look at this. Yo, look at this.
What?
Yo. Hi.
I love it.
Look at this. What's up? Gotta give some shout outs. Look at this.
That's amazing. This is a new feature?
No, it's all you could always show comments. It's just you couldn't see LinkedIn comments.
Oh, I see.
So look, if you make good comments, I'll go post it up.
Awesome.
So,
Love it.
yeah, no. So I mean, hold on, let me see. I gotta check the other account. But well, you've been working a lot, right, Brian? Yeah. Last time I talked to you, it's been crazy, right?
So much. Every night until like 2 in the morning, waking up at 5 in the morning, trying to adapt to this new situation, this new reality. And I mean, I consult for a business, and I wanted to make sure that I don't lose my contract. I do whatever it takes to be able to.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Yeah, to deliver what's expected of me.
No, I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do. Unfortunately, it's like, it is what it is. Wow, so I'm live on my company account too. This is weird. So, the notifications are so weird. So look, I found out a lot of people unfollow me because of the live notification. So that's why I lose like 4 to 5. It is what it is. I don't mind. I gain more through a day. But honestly, I'm gonna make a post about that. How I lose some people just.
You have already. You did that a week ago.
No, now I know. No, I gotta make a different post about this one. Hey, what's up, CC? What's up, Kenneth? And then you gotta see. He says we're looking so damn scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly tasty, good tonight.
Thank you.
That's what I gotta. That's what I gotta show. This is what people gotta see. Look at this.
Yeah.
Kenny, I want to know whether he actually writes that every single time or he copies and pastes.
No, dude, his is so different. The order's different.
I know.
Look,
But how does he do that?
Look, maybe he has an AI generator that gets like, hey, and then you put the thing. But either way, that takes effort.
Kenny, do it again. Do it again like 3 times differently. Like 5.
Yeah, so yeah, I totally forgot what I was saying. Abi, what's up? I gave you the link. You should be able to come on. Click on that link.
Coming in? Surprise.
Abi, my friend Abi.
Hey.
Kenny does give the best comments. So you know what? Let me go check out. Message me if you have an issue.
Is he in the green room?
Oh,
No,
wait,
no, he's not. I don't.
you were talking about the
Phone
people
guy.
that you lose, the people that you lose for the
Yeah. Oh.
notification.
So I'm gonna make a post. I gotta, talk about old people and they don't understand how they can turn off notifications and change settings. So I'm gonna hard hitting post. I gotta come at them.
Chris,
Like, I
you've
finally
seen
learned why
Jonai
people on
every single time Jonai posts, it's insane. Like it always goes viral. How is it possible that
No,
every
look.
single post
No.
he gets
Look,
500 likes?
my last post, I got
Yeah.
ever in like 7 months. So it happens to all of us. It happens. Sometimes it just
What
So he
happened?
got-
What happened?
he got 1,200
I posted
views.
about-
And he was like, "Oh, guess now I know how that feels." Like,
I got like 1,300 views. So for me, it's like I haven't hit that in a long time. I
That is
look, it's so long ago that I remember the exact post that I hit it with. The 2 posts that I hit like those. But yeah, look, it is what it is. What can you do? Right? Sometimes you could do well. But then you have another post that's like 500-600 likes. So you look, average out, it works out.
It's insane. So here's something I was realizing today, this morning. When you look at one single day, your metrics for one single day, after a certain amount of time of doing it over and over and over, you start to get used to those metrics, right? So you think that, only 200 likes, only 100 comments, only whatever it is.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the impact, the overall impact that you're having, positive impact, inspirational, empowering, and so on, and you look at the last month, forget about the last year or two, but the last month, and you're like, wow, it's been like 1 million views and 10,000 likes and 5,000 comments. You're like, wow, this is actually big numbers, right? Like it's difficult to get that kind of engagement.
Your brain only senses change, right? So when things go up or down, that's what you sense. You don't sense the things that stay the same. So I mean, that's
Right.
exactly kind of what you're talking about. Is like you do get used to it. You don't realize,
Yeah.
a year ago you were getting 50 likes or whatever it happens to be. So I feel you on that. And it's even hard for me to do it, even though I'm tracking it and I'm looking at it and I'm trying to like get everything to go up. But at the same time, it's like, if I'd have thought a year ago, was I going to have 100 likes on a post once a week, twice a week, whatever it is, I would have never guessed that was going to be the case. Never.
No, and I think 100%. It's like one of those things that you really just got to look at the overall thing. That are you still helping people? Are you still making impact? And
Right.
that's really all that matters. I think if you're still doing that, that's what's the most important. Hey, what's up, Clifford? Nice to see you. Kenny said, cut that animal loose from your head. So, dude, there's no barbershops. I can't go. There's no way. And there was a barber actually cutting hair, like whatever, and letting people in the store or the street. He had COVID, and obviously they had to test all his. It's just like you just got to be careful, man. It's just sometimes you get the cuts on your head and all that stuff. So, my sister's gonna cut my hair. She's gonna cut the side, so we'll see how it looks. Hopefully, it comes out well.
Can we raise money for
Maybe he's
charity
talking
or
about
something?
me. He never actually calls you out specifically, so maybe he's talking about me.
Do you think
No,
we can
no.
raise some money for charity or something or not?
What he now?
By shaving your head?
Like I don't know, something. I'm always thinking of how we can help other people. So, is there anything fun or crazy that we can do with our we to be able to?
We could probably discuss this offline just to really strategize. It takes time.
I'm down to shave my head to bring awareness. I'm good with that. It wouldn't take much convincing at all.
Yeah. No, see, I do it if it was for charity because it's like.
Now, Janai might bring in a bigger crowd because he doesn't want to shave his head.
Yeah. I'll be like, look, you guys get me. If I get 600 likes, I'm going bald for the first time in my life since I was a kid. Right. The last time I did a buzz cut when I was in high school, but before that, it was when I was a kid, man.
I like it.
Yeah. Me, it's just, I don't know. It's been so long, man, that I don't even remember.
You get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say I've been talking to a lot of people across the world, and I feel for a lot of people. I know that the three of us, we're blessed for what we have, right? I mean, we managed to stay home. We get some compensation from the government for what we're going through. There are a lot of people going through a lot of trouble right now. They don't know how they're going to be feeding their families. So for anybody who's watching, feel your pain. Like, we think about you all the time. we talk about you, and we really feel your pain. And if there's absolutely any way that we can help you, sorry, if there's absolutely any way that we can help you, please reach out. There are lots of resources that we can share with you to try to help you, whether it is resume, whether it is how to monetize LinkedIn, anything. I have a lot of free resources, and I know that. So please reach out. Don't stay in the shadow.
Yeah. Well, you were in the shadow when you were talking, and
Yeah,
now
I was
you're
gonna say it just got really bright. So whatever you did work.
That's
That helped.
the GPS came on.
cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's very important. I think just to, I was talking to my friend. It's like, look, I'm really blessed because it's like, look, I have shelter. I can stay at home. I can do this. My family's okay because look, if like for example, I told him I was like, a lot of people when they get older, right, they tend to be like, I became successful about XYZ because while hard work is very important, it's like, look, if my father passed away 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to quit my job, right? I would have had to do this. I would have had to do that. It's like there's so many things that a lot of people don't realize that sometimes just one bad date, right? You hear about people who get hit by drunk drivers. You hear about people who just go through certain things and they were doing the right things, right? They just sometimes, right? There is a luck portion, regardless of how hard you work. That sometimes it's you should get credit for that, but you shouldn't get. There are also some other factors that play that you have no control over, regardless of what you do, right? So, because one thing, I didn't have the video, but like I was driving on the highway, my car did a 360. So
Yeah, you
good thing
mentioned
I was going. Remember, I called you. So good thing no cars were around me. I wasn't going fast. But imagine if I was like on the highway and there's a truck, and I got hit.
Could it
And
be any direction or whatever? Yeah.
yeah, and then like I think I saw someone posted a video on LinkedIn where it was like they were driving a motorcycle, and the guy like whatever, and it was like a break like high, the high highways. The guy's motorcycle stayed, he flew off, and it's like, it's just you just never know. So I'm always
You saw this woman, Jan.
yeah, her husband
Her
passed away, right?
Yeah, he did a flip like on the bike, and he broke his neck, and he passed away. Right?
Yeah, that sucks.
That yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I'm always thankful because it's like I see stories of like, just parent, whatever, so many situations. So it's that's why the topic, the LinkedIn local tomorrows on mental health, just to really just focus on the people who just have it tough, who don't,
How do you
just don't
go
have
through
it.
things like that when you've got nobody to reach out to, kind of thing, right? I mean, to me, that's I think what hopefully is going to come out of tomorrow is giving people some self resources and self tools that they can either self help or go out and find people, because some of this is mindset. Obviously, mental health goes much further sometimes where you need more in-depth help, but sometimes too, for those of us who are stuck at home and are just going stir crazy because we're stuck in the house, it's a very real thing. You feel isolated, and that starts to cause anxiety and depression and these things that we can work in our own head to try and get back to a normal state. And so I'm hoping that we're hoping that events like this are a resource for people to be able to help themselves or get to the people that can help them, right?
Yeah, no, I mean the other thing is it's like, the thing about physical disabilities, people see it, right? You can see a person in a wheelchair. You can see a person who, whatever, lost an arm, lost a leg. You can see a person who's crippled, but there are some things you cannot see, right? You cannot see someone struggling with depression until you ask them. A lot of people who are sort of, unfortunately suicidal, sometimes you don't know. Like their closest friends don't know because they're embarrassed, they don't have the resources, they don't have the money. So it's just so tough. And I think especially now, it's like for some people they actually have hey, thank you, Craig, I really appreciate it. Some people, right, if you're introverted, some people are using this time to, right, they're doing okay, they're like, wow. But other people, it's like, look, especially people who have SAD, seasonal affective disorder or whatever, where they need the sun, they can't go out as much, or they're used to going to the gym. Like I know some people like their routines, and it's like disrupting their routine is tough. Like certain workouts, or just even the fear, right? That if, for example, like my father's diabetic, so it's like for me, it's like I don't want to be the reason that I'll stay home like 6 months or a year. I don't care. Like if I go and I'm the reason my father passed away, in addition to losing my father, right? Then it's like supporting my family. Now it's like it changes my business. Now I can't think as long term because I have to focus on taking care of my sister and my mom, right? So all these things, it's like, it's tough,
It
right?
piles
For
up.
people to think about. It piles up.
So
So
go ahead.
So I wanted to say for anybody here on LinkedIn, if anybody ever reaches out to you, I just want you to know that you have so much power and you have so much influence on somebody else. If someone is reaching out to you and they want to talk, if they just need to talk to someone, it doesn't matter how many followers, how big your account is. If someone is reaching out to you, just know that that person might be going through something like what you were describing. So one of the things or experiences that I've had, I always talk about this, is someone who reached out to me. I had no idea what she was going through, but I was paying attention and I was in the moment. And a week later, she said, "I am alive because of you."
Mm.
So that made me realize, okay, so every single interaction that I have with anyone can be really that powerful, that meaningful, that it can make a real difference and can keep someone alive. So if
Yeah.
anybody reaches out to you, I know that we can't save the entire world, but if someone reaches out to you, just acknowledge that there is a person on the other end. It doesn't matter the race, geography, title, whether they're in the same industry. Nothing matters. We're all human beings, right?
Yeah.
Same blood color, same number of bones. Just treat other people with dignity, care, respect, appreciation, kindness. That's all that they need, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Liam says, I don't understand why there's a stigma about mental health. We go to doctors for our health. We go to dentists for our teeth. Our brain is the most important part of our bodies, but we aren't supposed to go to doctors for that. It's just one thing that people, for whatever reason, there's a stigma about. So
And
yeah,
I do think that there's a stigma. When you talk to people about those situations where there's a mental health disorder involved, right? And it becomes a very kind of intense conversation, right? It's not something that most people feel comfortable openly talking about, whether it's about themselves or somebody else, or and that's challenging. It makes it that much harder to actually have conversations with people and to get to the core of the issues of why these things affect people's lives so much. And it really does. I mean, the impact that a mental episode can have on somebody's life is massive. It can really change the trajectory for the worse very quickly if it's not addressed.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I personally had it happen to a good friend of mine, just very bad time. And, just now it's just, he needs extremely professional help. And it's like, I haven't talked to him it's just, I get some crazy text from him and I'd love to respond, but it just ends up being really bad. Just crazy amounts of, unfortunately, really crazy text, and it's just sad, right? It's just bad cards in life, and
Is anybody helping him?
fortunately, no. It's just one situation. It's just like if you don't have the money, and the healthcare system is not set up, and then the other thing is if they're not getting help. Also, sometimes there are some free resources, but again, you have to know the system. You have to know, hey, how do I get access to these charities? So, but ultimately, you can't force someone to get help, right? They have to have a very good support system. Typically, like I've known other situations where people have done well, and people have done okay, they've recovered, but it's because they have family support. Like the family can sort of, like, I have a friend's brother and his father's well off, so his brother just can stay home, stay on a routine, and he doesn't have to worry about getting a job and this and that. But once you have to get on a routine, once you have to get a job and you have to maintain it, and and then someone says, how can I help be mental? I have no idea what that means. But it's like, and how can I help be like, how can mental, you have hell, some days you have good days, some days you have bad days, some days you have good time, good parts of your thing, some days you have bad parts. So yeah.
I think I kind of lean back into this other, how can mental have to do with health? I mean, just think about when you don't go to sleep, you don't get enough rest, and how things start to be perceived differently in, day-to-day interaction. Like things start to seem like they're falling apart, or they're more negative, or whatever it happens to be. And that could be something as simple as you're not getting enough sleep, or you're not eating correctly. So they do have a correlation between what you're doing in your physical life as well as what you're doing in your mental life too. So the perception changes. And that's just one example, right? So, your mind is controlled by your brain. Your brain is an organ. So if you're not taking care of your brain, then, the chances of your mental health being not as strong also change as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's very, it's 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 like the chicken and the egg, right? That your physical health affects your mental health affects your physical health. There's what you eat, right? Sometimes people need, like sometimes people they say vitamin D, right? If you're low on vitamin D, that impacts your mental health. And and then Jake says the amazing thing: mental health is relatively new, and I really want to highlight this comment. Um, there was a blanket term for hundreds of years. Crazy. It's a stigma carried by people with anxiety, OCD, and it's like I truly feel for people who had these things in the past, because they try to say, hey, this didn't exist. It did. It's just they were just labeled a certain way, or they just were shunned, or because I know in Bangladesh sometimes it's just like everybody just knows that person is crazy, and they just kind of taken care, and it's just known, right? Like so sometimes I go to some weddings, and I think the kid is severely autistic or something, and kid hates loud music, right? So it's like they bring it to weddings, and there's music, and you see the kid, like, it's like, why would you do that to the kid, right? It's like, so it's a lot of yeah.
Yeah.
I think
One thing.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
So I wanted to say, for people who are doing well, so let's remember that, sure, there are a lot of people who are not having a good time right now, but for people who are doing okay, the one thing, since you're on LinkedIn, we're on this platform, just remember that this is the moment to not fall asleep on your laurels. Do something about it and start to set yourself up, because this is going to happen again. All these crises, God forbid, doesn't affect you right now or ever. But prepare yourself, do something so that you're in a good position. Explore side income or passive income. Do something different. Not cryptocurrencies, okay? Nothing crazy like that. Don't do
Even
Bitcoin,
saving.
or
Look,
do
honestly, even
something. Invest in yourself, upskill, find ways to provide services to others, invest in a product of your own, try to learn new skills, do something. Don't just think that because you're safe today, you're going to be safe 6 months or a year from now.
Yeah.
Do something. I can tell you personally that 2 years ago, when I first started with this on LinkedIn, I had no idea how to do any of the stuff that I'm doing today on LinkedIn. This, for me, if I were to just get my contract terminated, I was talking about I'm a consultant. I provide services to an organization, large organization. I don't want to lose that because I make a lot of good money and I enjoy it a lot. But if that were to stop, I'm okay. I continue providing services on LinkedIn. I'm fine. I want everybody to explore that, because this crisis may have not affected you yet. God forbid it affects you in the future. But if it does, you need to have a backup plan. Everybody should have a backup plan. You cannot rely on somebody else to feed your family, right? Because at that moment, you will realize it's too late. So some of the things that you can do now is network. Start to upskill, find things that you can do for others, provide services. But do all these things today when you don't need them. Because if you start to do them when you actually need them, people will run away from you.
yeah.
Because nobody wants to be around someone who is needy, right? Like, oh, it's all about you, right? So start to give, share your knowledge, upskill, uh, build relationships. Get on a Zoom with anyone, like Chris and Jaya do all the time, and like I do as well. Just do all these things today, so that 6 months down the road, you're in a really good position.
Yeah. I mean, even saving money,
Yeah.
building relationships. Like, you lose a job, but you have enough relationships, you can get a job back. So it's like you want to do these things, you want to increase your skills so that look, you don't pigeonhole yourself no matter what.
And remember to be kind too. I mean, I know that the stress of this whole thing is incredible, and so to loop back to our mental health talk, right? So like the stress of this is incredible, and I don't think a lot of people are taking that as seriously as maybe they should. That we're processing and we're dealing with this in our own way, but at the end of the day, it's going somewhere, and a lot of the time it's getting stuffed in the back of your head, stuffed in the back of your head. Well, eventually you run out of room to keep stuffing it, and it's going to boil over. And so, if we can remember, we've got to stay kind to other people. We've got to make sure that we're maintaining our composure and that we don't lose it and cause somebody else more stress. And it's just a vicious cycle. So it's a hard thing to do to realize that you've got stress when you're trying to tune out the stress.
Yeah. No, I think it's important, and yeah, Jake will definitely get on Zoom. Yeah, because it's like it's a very tough balance, because when you're going tough and you're not yourself, you want to at least be positive around people to the best of your ability, because it's like, look, as much as you want to help your friends and stuff, if that friend who's always negative, it's just like, look, you're always thinking like, I got to prepare for this call because I know what it's going to be. It's going to be, and it's just really tough. And then what happens is you shun people away, not because they don't like you, but because they have to sort of prepare. And then this sort of really hurts your opportunities. It's very important. And thank you for all your comments, Ghost of Frost. But that's Twitch. We got some Twitch comments. I usually don't get that.
Yeah, I was gonna say normally it's a quiet channel.
Yeah, so it's that, and then it's tough. I think self-awareness is key, because when you talk about these things, you have to know yourself. You have to know what triggers you, what you need, what your weakness. Some people, they have to be extra clean on their diet, because when their diet goes, then it sort of puts their other parts off life. Some people, they know they have to stick to routine, right? If they get off routine, they get really hurt. And another thing that you have to do is your habits, your sleep, who you talk to. And Tolgar brings up a very good point. He said activity to counter it is reactive. And you don't want to be reactive, right? You don't want to exercise when you already overweight. You don't want to eat healthy when things are bad, right? You want to be proactive. And then he says absence of routine removes sense of purpose and waters down passion. And there are immediate and it's like you really have to be careful, because each part of your life, it's like a circle, right? That they each either enhance or they bring down the effects. Mm-hmm. And then Alyssa said she had a top neurosurgeon that said she was bipolar just because she had migraines. So look, always get a second, third opinion, because just like, look, sometimes they're very good at things and they can be wrong, but once you're getting 2-3 opinions, then you have more, and sometimes you have to go further, because I know some people who've had issues and it's only one doctor who's seen a rare case, and that's how they figured it out, right?
And they're referencing that every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm in big trouble. I got migraines, so
Listen, I need to head home.
Drive.
I'm 20 minutes away from home.
Okay.
But I try to jump back in when I get home. Okay?
Yeah, I would probably be out, but if we're here, we're here.
You'll
see us. All right,
Hope
thank you.
Everybody's keeping safe. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Thank you. So, I mean, it's so anybody, you see the link on the top right, I'm gonna paste it in again. Please, for some reason it's case sensitive, so make sure LIL is capped. I'm really sorry about that. I'm not sure why that happened or why it is that way. So please, let me see, show. Yeah, so please come by. Love to sort of see you guys there. The topic is mental health. We have some amazing speakers who are there, and we need a migraine tape. You know what? I'm gonna put a migraine tape. So you know what? We should have. See, I want to be. So migraine table. I don't want to be like offensive too, right? It's like, hey, here's the. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, I need sun table. I need exercise table. I need. You know what? I'll do it like that. I need exercise. I need board games.
I need Advil.
Yeah, I need Advil. Okay, let's do that.
Excedrin, that's the migraine one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Fortunately, I'm lucky, because I know people who have. I knew someone who got cluster headaches. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I just know they're brutal, man. When you get cluster headaches, it's like he had them. Whatever. When he would get hit, it would just be terrible, and I truly felt bad because it's like,
If I'm not mistaken, they're similar to migraines. They're not the same as migraines because there's different things that cause them, different chemicals that cause them, but they're similar in the pain level to migraines, like true migraines. But yeah, cluster headaches. My grandmother got some, and she has to take special abortion. They call it abortion medicine, and it's like it literally like aborts the headache. It's like nope.
wow.
Bypasses it all together, and like in about an hour you're feeling normal again. It's pretty heavy duty stuff, but crazy.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, she said she doesn't have them, but other people that do. I think there's one, I forgot the name, but it's a disease, it's called like the suicide disease, that you just have, you're in so much pain that you, like, it has there's a disease like that, unfortunately.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. So, look, I for me, it's like, I always think like, I only got first world problems, so I can't complain. I got my new charger wire, so I'm good. It's like,
I will say, like, I get some pretty gnarly headaches, like migraines from time to time, but aside from that, for the most part, my health is pretty good. My mental health is pretty good. I'm pretty level, but that hasn't always been the case in my family. So
yeah, hold up. Oh, so Alyssa, it's called trigeminal neuralgia, and it's not. If you search up it says, it just goes. Yeah, it's like it's a pain that spreads over the face and down the neck, and even if you breathe, it starts hurting, and it goes around your face, and it's commonly misdiagnosed. But yeah, it's just like a nerve that behind the ear, and it just like really connects your cheeks, jaws, lips, and nose, and trigeminal neuralgia. So I'll paste it. But yeah, so I just think about, I guess it.
Just real quick, did you see that just came through?
What? Okay, sure. I'll just kind of hold up. Let me see this. Hold up, I gotta. Hold on. Let me see something. Okay. Yeah. Pass it. Give him the link. Or hold up, I gotta give him the link.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, you got. Give him the link. So cool. Yeah. No, I'd love to. What's up? Hey, what's up, Dimitri? Always good to see you. Travis Barker. Wow. Okay. Suicide disease. Yeah, that's it's tough, man. I there was another one. I remember when I used to watch those shows. There was one where where they sleep for months and they just like sleepwalk, and sometimes it's like 100 people in the world have it. It was such a small number.
Like a Rip Van Winkle kind of thing, or
sometimes they go to sleep. They're good for weeks, and then they sleep like 3 months.
What?
And it's like they're not woken up. It's just like such a rare disease. And
can you imagine? Like, I can't even imagine.
Dude, I saw this video, right? I forgot, the guy was lost on an island or he was in a coma. And then he came before COVID and after COVID, and he was like, what? Complete 180.
Was that a movie or a show?
No, I think some guy was lost or coma. So
that would be great. Just skip this whole thing.
No, but he didn't skip it. He just skipped before and after. He just woke up to like an apocalypse, right? That's literally a movie. That's like something.
That's what I was thinking. Is like it's almost kind of perfect for a movie. Hey, Dimitri.
Yeah, no. Hey, Dimitri's cool. I like him. I gotta check out his post, man. He's been consistent, dancing, all that stuff.
Hopefully, he'll be at. the.
Yo, Dimitri, you coming in tomorrow? The LinkedIn Local, man. I always loved your energy, man. I always love it. Always love seeing you, seeing all the stuff. Togar, he got the link.
I sent it. I copied it from my address bar and sent it.
Yeah, I don't know. My other friend tried to get on. I don't know if he had issues or what's up. You know what? Maybe no. You came in with the same link, so that's not the issue. So you know one thing, I think it's good the way mental health is sort of moving, because I feel like a lot of things as teenagers, it's like you just don't know what you're going through, and I think sometimes just even having a terminology for what you're going through really changes things, right? It just helps you understand, like, okay, uh, right, this is what it's called, or this is how I handle it. I'm normal. This is something a lot of people go through. Even knowing that, hey, this is something that other people go through.
Yeah.
It's so comforting.
Well, there's a lot to be said about, if you've been through this, then it helps you to understand this, right? So, I think the people who've been through dark phases in their life, if they've learned to adjust that, right, internally, they've learned how to process it and to manage it and things like that. They're much more level going into the next one, so that they can weather the storm a lot easier. But I think especially, let's continue to use this as an example of what we're going through now. Right? If you've been through this, then
What's up, Togar?
How are you?
Good.
How's everything, man? Yo, did you change the color? Now it's blue, or you got a blue?
No, that's the white light shooting on the green screen and it turns it blue. It's the weirdest thing.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the blue color better than green in terms of like how it looks on the background.
Yeah, if I turn on the other light, the yellow color that this light ring has, it totally turns green. So
the white light turns it green?
No, it creates this blue look.
The white light, okay, so yellow gives it green.
Correct. As of right now, that seems to be what's been happening. So,
wow, that's very interesting.
I'm telling you, it was so weird because I was trying to shoot something and I got so confused.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm looking. I was like, wow, okay, Tolgar, different screen. I guess he didn't want green or different.
Now you got one of the full frames and everything for your green screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6 foot by 10 foot or something. This pole.
Wow. You saw Janayad's new one, right?
Yeah, the one that attaches to the chair.
It looks like a peacock tail.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually move this back just because I'm wobbling the laptop a little bit here. But yeah, there we go.
How's everything with you? You've been pretty busy lately, right?
It's been great. Well, I heard you guys talking mental health, and I've teetered on that before in terms of having challenges, and can completely relate from a generational standpoint, from a work standpoint, and even what I'm going through right now, which is just having to be really mindful. And I'm so glad I got you guys around, because it's like, hey, just take a breather. There's a lot going on. And Kelsey's comment, I like this new little thing you got going on.
No, I always had it. You just couldn't see LinkedIn comments, so I don't get as many comments on Facebook.
Oh,
so that's why I could show. Now it's good. I could do and I could put Kenneth's comments on top. I could put these things.
Tolgar's Mr. Disco Lights. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome to see that kind of stuff. But no, we have a software release coming out in the summer, and
that's tough.
And I'm managing teams all over the world, and there's just a couple of things happening, and so it's you got to take a breather, and then you've got the impact of being home. You've got the impact of running 24 hours a day essentially to get instructions for the next part of the day. You've got family life that you're juggling, so it definitely has to be top of mind.
No, of course. I mean, what has sort of gotten you through? Because you've been in a lot of different situations, right? You have a lot more experience than.
Well, I'll tell you,
I don't know about Chris, but definitely me.
Right? Yeah, I mean, from a holistic view, from just growing up, there was a lot of be tough it out. It's a sign of weakness. What are you talking? You know what I mean?
Is it common, like Turkish culture? I assume.
Oh yeah, military and Turkish military culture. Let's just say that was even more stringent. And so there really wasn't an outlet, right? And you kind of just accepted things as they were. And the journey that I've been going through, even in the last 2-3 years, is this acceptance. Like terms like toxic didn't exist in our days, right? And so for me, about 2 years
ago, if you ate a toxic or something, if a snake bit you, it was toxic. But other than that,
fair point. But in terms of an emotional status and just people around you, the energy vampires that we talk about, the drama carnivores, all that stuff, like it's very impactful. But what's unique for me is that about 2 years ago, I went through my own COVID kind of quarantine situation where I was working from home for the first time nonstop. Mm-hmm. And similar to the way I'm delegating things now, I had to do that from home previously, but it just took a huge toll on me, a big one where anxiety started creeping up. I already have some back issues. So like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and then the anxiety would flood on top of that, and then you'd be wide awake at 2, 3 in the morning and you're thinking about stuff. So, I definitely can relate to that aspect of it. And I think part of that is managing your time much better, having a lot, for me personally, having much more intention with how you use every minute of your day. And so I heard Brian talking about upskilling earlier and doing those things. Mm-hmm. A lot of that stuff that we say is very easy for us to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so obvious and it's so simple, but you are your own worst enemy. You are the person who will find every way to mitigate your success.
Yep.
And so you self-sabotage. And so as good as it sounds for all of us to say you should do this, this, or this, it's just like anything else. Until that person is truly ready, they've hit that point where they want that change, And so, but it's amazing what people will put up with and deal with and treat it as if it's normal when it's not.
The interesting thing about people, and I'm a big believer in this, that a lot of people will rise to the occasion, right? It's like a lot of people, like if they had to, they could go run 5 miles, right? If they had to get something for whatever, right? So a lot, and especially you see even a lot of organizations recently, right? You had these things, we can't work from home, our things not set up, this and that. And all of a sudden in 3 weeks, everybody's working from home, right? So it's like they could have done it, right? That's the common thing. They could have done it before, but they didn't have the mindset. But same thing, a lot of leaders and a lot of people, it's like you give them a little more, they can rise to the occasion. And then same thing, it's like, just sometimes it's just, make sure you have the self-awareness to sort of do better and rise to the occasion, right? Rise to the, to your own occasion, and don't block yourself, right? To the best of your ability. And it takes time. It's not easy. It's like, don't think it's going to happen in one day, 1 week. It's like a lifelong process, right? Even people who are older, it's like you have to continue.
I've got a term for that.
What's the term?
The effort point, and it actually stands for something I'm not going to say on live, but that, it is interesting because I've always said it's a lot easier to push up from the bottom than it is to jump from midair, right? And so when that changes need to take place, sometimes people will allow themselves to get way down in the hole, but then when you watch them just take off after that, because all of a sudden they've got this idea of the worst that it can be, and they no longer want to be there. They no longer want to do that anymore, and they'll take every step that they possibly can and are able to go to the stage that they want to be at. So it gives you a different incentive almost to make those changes. So back to your point, is that people step up to the plate when they need to step up to the plate sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add to what you were saying before tonight about remote work. Mm-hmm. A lot of that is like company culture. You know what I mean? And the trust that you have in your employees. You either trust them or you don't. You're either going to micromanage them to death or you're not, right? And adults are autonomous creatures that should be held accountable to deliver on deadlines with the quality of work you need, but how they do it shouldn't matter. How they allocate their time shouldn't matter as long as they deliver. And I just think that when we think of the stressors of COVID, there's so much beyond just kind of the obvious of surviving and getting acquainted and acclimated. There's all these outside pressures too from employers, even right now, who are not necessarily exercising the empathy needed and just adding to that, chaotic level. So I genuinely think that we're going to see a bigger fallout from all of this than we're seeing right now. I think, we're going to see some big things happening in the next couple of months, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I mean, because now it's a different, because personal, the actual physical culture is one thing, then it's a different culture. It's something else, right? Now they have to manage differently. People who are not used to seeing something, and and then some people, they work better, some people they don't, because some people sort of need that, hey, I need to have this deadline, I need to have my manager kind of looking at me. Whereas other people are like, wow, I'm so free, I can focus on these things, I can do what I want to, I can set my own schedule. It's very tough. It's because I had a friend who works at a company, and he's like, he has this kid, and he can really only work when his kid's like sort of asleep, or during certain time, because his wife has to work from home too. So it's just like small apartment, and his manager's just not getting it and just dumping work. And I see sometimes these people, and it's like, you gotta really have those check-ins, those one-on-ones, like, hey, how you doing? Is this work? Am I giving you a reasonable amount of work? What do you want? How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right, because they make so many different. Have you guys seen the sun lamps? I think someone showed us the sun lamp, right?
Sun lamp. Oh, to help with vitamin D.
Yeah. So, one of the comedians. So you were there. Yeah. So you were there. So what he does is every morning when he wakes up, it's a powerful lamp, 20 minutes, and he said, a lot of people who have the, right, they get the seasonal affective disorder, right, during the winter months. The sun lamps it makes a very big difference. It makes especially gets like their vitamin D, just sets the moon on, and sometimes even the routine of doing something like that. So what has sort of helped you from working from home, Togar? Like, what would you say? What are some tips you have working from home?
I think it's very easy to fall into the work, where you don't take breaks. I think that's one thing. You have to be very mindful of that and not charge through and really do allocate time for yourself. Secondarily, I'd say a lot of people don't have their own office environment at home. Yeah. You need a door, you need privacy, you need whatever, because that really makes a huge difference. Even with my family, having worked from home, I still have to occasionally be like, when the door is closed and dad's in a meeting, I just need, X amount of time and let me finish through here, because it's, most of the questions are not anything that are massively.
Hey, what are you doing? It's like, it's between the hours of 8 and 5. I'm working. Like, you have to, and you do. I think that there's an element of boundaries, especially when you're working at home as a professional. You're on calls all day long, and like, there's a sound element to that, but there's also a visual element now with the video. And you have to keep those boundaries in place so that, not only does your family member know when it's okay to come in and bug you, right? Or, that way meeting's not getting interrupted. So it's challenging, and it's, we're still dealing, this household's still dealing with it 3 months later. It's wild. But it's getting better.
Now, the other thing I would say is that I think you guys are probably a lot more familiar with this than I, which is pushing your bedtimes beyond reasonable.
Oh man, I'm sleeping at. Dude, I'm sleeping at.
Don't even get me started, Mister. It's so
I see posts from you at like 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. He's posting.
I heard the birds this morning before I went to bed.
Yeah,
I saw
exactly.
the sun coming up before I went to bed. It's so bad, it's out of control.
I mean, to be fair, I think when I met you guys, midnight, 1, 2 a.m. was like the reason. And now it's 4 a.m., 5 a.m., so that's a key thing though, really, because you need some sense of structure, and the difference, to your point, Junaid, is when you're at work, you're forced in a structure. And you have people watching you. You're accountable. When you're at home, your spouse or your partner or whomever, your roommate, is not going to sit there and say, hey, are you going to bed at time? Are you doing this? Whatever. I mean, they may at some point, but you gotta be accountable for yourself. And so you have to take that seriously. And that stuff slowly erodes, kind of like acid rain on a statue. So you don't really notice it unless you look at it from year to year, And so, I would just say that's a huge thing, is figure out a routine.
Routine is very important.
Binging like Netflix for, whatever.
It's a nice routine for a while.
It's fair. It's just not a routine. You know what I mean? You got to have, I wake up at this time and try to, because what happens is when you have these activities that are somewhat routine and operational, you know exactly how much time you need to allocate and how much free time you have to do whatever it is you want to do. Otherwise, if you're just kind of navigating willy-nilly, the day goes by. And the people that always say, wow, like time has passed so quickly, it's because they have a life that's kind of like this. You need these, moments where there's transients that happen that are impactful, and you have to force those moments in this particular environment we're in right now.
What about those people who just have their foot on the gas all the time?
But the pedal to the metal crew.
All three of us, just foot on the gas all the time. It does go fast, and it's kind of sad, really, if you think about it. 3 months have gone by. It feels like a couple weeks. And, what do we have to Hey, Steven. Sorry, I just saw that pop up through the feed. I haven't seen Steven in a long time. So
Matthew said, "What's bed?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
no, I'm hoping that soon here we're gonna get that back under control because it's getting bad.
Yeah. So Samantha says most people work without being micromanaged. I think, look, the only time I work better while micromanaged is if I'm doing event planning, because I'm terrible at that. When you need all the details, you need to get all the chairs, get all the setup. Other than that, it's just not a good way. It's just not good.
Well,
Now,
culturally, some managers are definitely more on the stick than the carrot. And,
Yeah.
Even you say, with Bangladesh, culturally, some folks that I've met there are very, they're like, and they want it. They say, hey, this, I like this. This helps me keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to each his own. But I was definitely, I've been in environments where I've talked about, I had a manager who I had to ask to go to the bathroom, right? And like,
Wow.
yeah, I've posted about that, but like, and this manager would document it, a little spreadsheet, and how many minutes I was gone. It was like, so there's mental health issues there too, because it starts building anxiety. You start questioning your value, your worth. I mean, it's all kinds of things.
You want to, what you should have done? You should have one day, you should have gone to the bathroom for like 62 minutes, right? And then he would have reported you. Be like, look, he would have looked so stupid, being like, well, Tolgar goes to the bathroom for 3 minutes on Mondays, 7 minutes during the late days, and he'd be like, what are you doing? Report. Like you have a pivot table of Tolgar's bathroom breaks, and be like, look, I was reading a book. You say something like that. And then we got another Twitch comment. He says, Space Donkey 801. Exactly. I'm living with my girlfriend and her parents, and he sleeps and lives in the living room, but he also streams there. And it's tough. When your life is all, I'm the same thing. It's like my bed's here. Fortunately for me, I don't have that issue of like the separation, but some people need to, they can't, usually you're not supposed to work where you sleep.
Yeah.
Right? To sleep, your bed should be a separation. Fortunately, like I don't have that issue, but a lot of people do. So if you guys have issues, really, just be aware of it. Everybody, he says he can flow better on his own. That's cool. And I appreciate. If y'all are waiting for me to slow down, you're gonna. Yeah, I have a routine during my remote work. So when I do, no, I think for me, the reason that it's being is just I'm just taking on so much work because like as a startup and an early entrepreneur. Unfortunately, it's like you gotta sort of step on the gas during this time because you gotta pivot in order to make sure that when things do recover, you're in okay shape, right? Because it's either survive or die, unfortunately. And I think Chris and I are both, we have businesses, and it's like you gotta, we want to get to the point where it's like, hey, we could sort of get off the gas, where we could get, some more resources and some more help, and But in the beginning of a business, even though I've been doing this for a couple of years, it's really now it's only this year that I've really found out like a revenue generation model, being cash flow positive, being able to reinvest and get some help. And now it's like, I need more help, right? There's so many things, that's why it's like, I get a lot of people who are like, hey, you should do X, Y, Z. You need to do this. Like, I actually know all the things I need to do. But physically, I don't have the time or the resources. As an entrepreneur, you can't do everything. Even businesses, you literally cannot do everything. So it's like you got to pick and choose. Like, hey, here's what I got to focus on now. When I get to this stage, I'll do this because it's like, people say, oh, you should be on Instagram, you should be on Twitter, you should be on that. But it's like, look, even managing LinkedIn is like tough. So now I got to manage DMs from like another platform and create content. It's just tough until you have like a team and a lot of support.
Are those people that say that you should be on all these things also doing that themselves?
No. Look, this is my strategy. People who tell me, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then, they keep giving advice. I'm like, wow, you really know so much. Why don't you start your own business? And it's like, oh, my business has failed. Oh, I'm not ready. Then I say, okay, no, you should really start because look, it's different. You gotta flip the script on them. You gotta be like, well, why don't you start? You know everything. Then it's like, why? You know everything. You're telling me. Why aren't you consulting for me? Because it's a different game.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's crazy. Samantha says there are more mental health issues from being micromanaged. When I worked a job like that, I took a long bathroom break for the heck of it. You need a break from being harassed and it's like, dude, a camera all over. Space Donkey, LinkedIn. I mean, again, it depends on your platform. For me, LinkedIn really works. Feel free to send me a message. I'd love to sort of get to talk to you. But yeah, it's just for me, it's like, yeah, I'm doing Twitch, but I'm only doing Twitch because it's an additional click. If not, it takes time to build a Twitch audience. I remember, what do I get? It's like one time. Sometimes I get one streamer, right? Most of the time it's straight zero. So
night, which is awesome, but normally it's like,
yeah,
but I'm certainly not getting comments and things from them. So
yeah, no. So I really appreciate all the Twitch fans, all the LinkedIn fans, people who are watching on Facebook. I have like one viewer on Facebook. Oh no, one viewer on Twitch. So no, I appreciate that. Yeah, outreach. It's all about just doing what you can. I mean, let's slowly start to wrap up. I actually have a meeting at 12 in 9 minutes. This is when I do my meetings.
This is so generic.
Yeah. No, I gotta.
I just want to know, when you set up the meeting with whomever it's with, are you guys just like, hey, how's midnight for you tonight? Oh yeah, that's perfect.
No, really.
Last night it was 2 to 4.
Yeah, we had this guided tour thing, kind of 2 to 4 a.m. And then post meeting, and then look, see, the thing is, it's good because I get meetings with the outside of the world, no coordination. It's like, yeah, 3 a.m. Like one time I'm like, Chris, I got a meeting at 3 a.m. But it was a good meeting. And the beauty is you're not as rushed because you don't have a 3 a.m. and a 3:30 and a 4 a.m. You just have a 3 a.m. and that's it.
Right in the middle of the night. Like,
yeah. But dude, you know how many 9 a.m.s I've had? Oh, damn. There's something I'm supposed to have tomorrow morning. Damn it. I told the guy, I said, yes. I've been listening. Damn it, I gotta go.
Live on air as Janaya goes through his calendar.
Dude, I only remembered it now. Damn it.
You know what you should do is you should put a calendar together and schedule.
I do have a calendar. I just didn't put that on my calendar. No, calendar 100%. If someone told me I need a calendar, I'd be like, you're right. You're right, my man. Like,
Are you a checklist kind of guy, or are you like, how does your day go by?
I need a checklist. It's just I'm so busy. I'm not the type to make my own checklist. I need to hire someone to be like, can you be my checklist person and give it to me? That's what I need.
Dictate it. It's like, so I'm a checklist and a calendar guy, but my thing, I wouldn't say it's a checklist. I would say it's like a to-do list, right? So I've just put things that I know that if I don't have it written down, I'm going to forget. And there's not a good way to schedule it, right? To say, hey, on Thursday, I've got, speaking of which, I do have things on for Thursday, but like, so I have a list and I have a calendar, and those are my two primary things. And then I kind of use my email as like, that's kind of the way that I keep track of what's active and current, really, is like I lean on my email to like what's incoming. And then when I have lulls in the email, I'll come back to those other two things and make sure that I'm good. And then from there, it's like, what can I fill up my time with outside of that? So
I mean, he says I typically I don't remember what I need to do, man. It's just like, look, I only remember now. Some reason randomly, because I'm like, hey, I never have 9 a.m.s. Oh wait, I do have a 9 a.m. tomorrow, randomly. So
I'm just gonna give you. I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I wasn't gonna say it.
No, it's just.
I was just going to give you guys 2 tips that worked for me that I've talked about before. One is that a to-do list generally doesn't allocate the amount of time it's going to take for the to-do. So try to get to a point where it's beyond just a to-do, but also, and that's just for me personally, because I used to put to-dos and I'd run out of time. But the other thing was that I had a boss who wasn't the greatest boss, but he gave me this one gem of advice, which was about getting motivated. And so I think if you're in COVID or you're struggling in whatever capacity, this particular thing worked for me, which was write a list of things that you need to do the next day, but put the most mundane things first, like your laundry, your whatever, all the easy peasy things, and then put like one task that's just going to take a little more time. And as you do each one that day, you cross it off and you handwrite this, right? So there's a connection with your hand. I
like that.
And it actually helps motivate you because you feel accomplished. You're like, I made my bed. I did the dishes. And then now here's this one task at the end of the day. And as you grow, as you continue this daily, you start noticing how much those operational things take, and you can start adding bigger things to the list that are going to take more time. And just one way to help.
I think momentum is a very powerful thing, right? Momentum in anything, momentum in business, momentum in habits. And I mean, let's slowly start to wrap up. Just want to thank each and every one of you for talking on this topic. I'm going to put the link in the comments. The link to the event. Hold up,
which is going to be amazing, by the way. I am so excited for this. Seriously, if you are watching, no matter what channel you're on, please join tomorrow. Free, amazing experience, but just a great topic. Everybody can get something out of it.
All the speakers are fire. The networking is incredible. The last one was very busy. We had a lot of really high-end people there. And this one's panning out to be even more so. So I'm really looking forward to meeting new people, seeing old friends. I know that there's a bunch of people that I haven't talked to in months that are going to be there. So it's just like old friends catching up and meeting new friends. And it's going to be awesome.
So, Tolgar, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, look, you're always welcome. You're on the eternal invite list.
I appreciate that, man.
But next time I expect a green screen.
Yeah, I'm doing some cool things. You guys might reps enjoy some of this
I like
work.
every single one of your TikTok videos. So you see it. Like I like all them. It's cool, man. So thank you. I want to thank the audience. Thank each and every one of you. Appreciate it. Just feel free. Oh wait, we gotta put the music.
Oh, here we go.
Hold up. We gotta go. We gotta go. Hold up. Podcast. I gotta have a better process for this. See, I need a checklist. See, for me, I need a checklist of before I go. So I gotta be like, hey,
live on air.
Like, hey, here's
you got no degree, no problem. No problem. Any problem, we can solve it.
Let me know if the sound is okay.
Insomnia keeps us evolving, growing and knowing. Wisdom is flowing. If you didn't know, now you know where I'm going. If you didn't know, sing that again, everybody. No degree, no problem. Any problem, we can solve them. Linked insomnia keeps us evolving. We're growing and knowing the wisdom is flowing. If you didn't know, now you know where I'm going. No degree, no problem. Any problem, we can solve them. Linked insomnia keeps us evolving. We're growing and knowing the wisdom is flowing. If you didn't know, now you know where I'm going. Yeah.
And I thank each and every one of you. Patreon.com/no-degree. Whatever, everything goes back into the show. Really appreciate you. No, I did not mic this up myself. I'm not that talented, right? My talents are very limited. Rob Housey from LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a message. Check it out. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you, Rabia. Thank each and one of you. I'll probably be back when I'm coming back. Oh, tomorrow night I'm going on Adam Posner's live. So feel free to send me a message. We'll do that. That should be a good show. LinkedIn local, LinkedIn virtual, whatever. What is it? May. It's May.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I'll see you guys there.
Yeah. So catch you guys. Thank you.